Okay, so uh, it's quite easy to discuss about just visualization, but I just also thought of drawing the context of visualization with what we do, the spiritual part, the meditation part, and how do we tune ourselves and so on. So this session is not just plain vanilla visualization, but also to set the context in the mind, because most of the time we block ourselves to visualization when we doubt visualization itself. Okay, so that is why this session is very important, because I will also draw a few scientific angles to visualization and why it is so important. Part of this presentation today, of course, as you can understand, it is not a session, it is not a meditation, it's a session to explain and to discuss with all of you. Part of the session, of course, we have already discussed earlier in many other sessions or many other platforms. But nonetheless, I'm sure all of you will get some insights from the discussion. And once the discussion is over, the platform will be open and we can even talk and discuss. If you have any points, any questions, we can discuss and we can take it forward. So here we go. So this is kind of a funny slide, and you see there are some creatures there, and you know what? These creatures are created by Satyajit Ray's father, Sukumar Ray, and Sukumar Ray was a great poet, and he used to write a lot of poems for kids, children, and kids, and some of which we also read in our childhood, and we used to like laugh and laugh and laugh. And he used to create such imaginary pictures, imaginary creatures. And when you read a poem on that particular creature, you will actually be able to visualize that, oh my God, so it looks like this and it does like this and it jumps and it smiles and it acts. So that was the power of his poems. And perhaps if some time comes, maybe I can share some of the poems with you also. It is so hilarious and so interesting. But more importantly, the purpose of our session is not that. Purpose of our session is to understand why, sorry, why am I talking about it? So visualization, as I see it, is actually a subset of imagination. Uh, why? Because if you talk about visualization, it only touches upon the visual aspect of imagination. So, for example, when you see a movie, okay, you see pictures, you see scenes, and so on. And if you close your eyes and you're able to see it again, that is called visualization. And I think all of us can do that. For example, if I take just take the lyrics of a very very famous, say, Hindi song, okay, I'm sure immediately you will be able to draw the context, the scene behind that song. Okay, so that is visualization. Okay, so visualization is not associated with much of creativity. Okay, imagination is. Imagination includes both stock and flow concept. Implies stock is picture, just a picture. The picture that you see here is imagination, total imagination. How can you have a say dinosaur's body with a elephant with wings, the last one that you see there? So this is a wild imagination, and yet it looks so funny. So visualization is something based on experience, what we have experienced earlier. Okay. Now you may say, so then why do we talk about visualization? We should talk about imagination all the time. Well, that is a deeper question. Why we are talking about visualization and not imagination? Because we truly believe that our spiritual journey is not limited to one lifetime. It is across lifetimes. We call it visualization because it is your own experience. You may argue, how can you call it our experience? You are taking me to the astral world, and you're trying to show me something which I've never seen earlier. Yes, your this life has not seen it earlier, but your soul has gone through it. So we call it experience because for the soul it is an experience, for this body it is a imagination. So visualization is a subset of imagination. And as you know, any kind of a visualization or imagination requires all your five senses. That is why you must have noticed many times when I take you through meditation, maybe I take you through a garden, okay? Or I take you through a beach, you're walking on a beach. Do you notice I guide you, and not only me, many of the guided meditations, they will ask you to feel the breeze. They'll ask you to feel the touch of the sand. They'll ask you to smell the forest, the leaves. They'll ask you to close your eyes and see the greenery around, see the waves, hear the sound of the waves latching on the beach. So which means we try to activate all the five senses with your closed eyes. Okay. So imagination or visualization is impossible without activating all your five senses in your deep meditation. Okay. So that is the answer why we focus on visualization and not imagination, because we really don't believe that what we see, what we experience, and what our inner mind captures is imagination. We feel it is an experience. Hence, it is visualization and not imagination. Next, this is something we discussed earlier several times. So we use all the five senses for visualization or even for imagination. So this is something that we discussed, and many times when we don't have one sense, we develop the other, and that tries to compensate the loss of one sense as such. So let's look into this. So, what happens? What happens when you are into deep meditation, or you are in a kind of a trance state? You are going through a past life regression, or you are in a state of, say, trance or dream. Much of the inputs that we gather from independent people about what they view during a PLR session matches with one another. So, for example, there are people who say that when I'm at the soul state, I view myself as a light ball. I'm just giving an example. This is uniform across people independently. So, if it was a wild guess or an imagination, then the result that we see across people wouldn't have been the same. Are you with me? Then, if you talk about your soul journey beyond this lifetime, there is no concept of time. Nothing is time bound there. Earth, the way we see it, is a three-dimensional structure. Everything that we can touch and feel and taste, our five senses can feel them.
sectors of agriculture, sectors.
Okay. So, why we close our doors or why do we close our windows to visualization and to imagination is a billion dollar question. Naturally, we try to close because our brain, the left brain and the right brain, one part of the brain believes in logic. And what drives logic? 3D, the three-dimensional world drives logic. That is, if I don't see something, if I can't touch something, if I can't smell something, if I can't feel something, it does not exist. That is the logical mind. And then we have the other mind, the creative mind. So we often close the doors of a creative mind just by saying, oh, that's wild imagination. In reality, it doesn't happen. For example, if you want to view yourself driving a Ferrari, you will shut your door there, you will shut the window there. Oh my God, that is not going to happen. Why am I even thinking about it? I am okay with my Honda. I am okay with my this and that. So we don't even dare to visualize that I have my own Lamborghini or something like that. We don't even dare to visualize because that is nowhere close to reality, the three-dimensional world. We block it there. Why do you even imagine about something which we know it's out of question? So we block it. And then the whole world, whole universe conspires to make that happen that we believe in. So if we believe that we should remain mediocre, moderate, middle class, then we remain that. If you dare to dream and to believe in your dream, then that happens. We'll come more into that shortly. What are observations? Observations is always what we see, what the observer wants to see. Now, the way you view a railway station is the same thing. Okay. So trains can come and trains can leave, but you can continue staying on the platform if you don't want to take a train. Okay. Is seeing believing? The point is that we can't even see what is available in front of us. Not even 0.00000000005% of whatever is there around us can we see. So I am now contradicting your own brain, which you say that the three-dimensional world is real. So I'm trying to tell you that what you consider as real is actually not even a fraction of reality. I'll prove you that. You know, many times cats and dogs or animals can hear decibels much lower than us. For example, God forbid, if there is a threat of a say landslide or a threat of a natural calamity like a cyclone or a tornado or for example earthquake, animals can feel it much earlier than human beings. Human beings here when it happens because their brain blocks anything that is beyond the 3D dimension. Animals can't block. So we end up hearing only 1% of the sounds that are available in within our domain. So these are small examples. When you touch somebody, when you hug somebody, you feel that, oh, I'm touching a physical body. But little do we know that 99.9999% of our body is actually empty space. So these are all contradiction to reality that you feel is reality. This is a beautiful game in front of you. I showed this game sometime back. I'll give you the name of the game also. But can you see there are two blocks A and B, and can you see that the A block is black? It's a chessboard essentially. There's a A block which is black, and there's a B block which is white. You can see, right? Now see the magic. I will draw a patch that connects A and B. Now with this patch, can you find the difference between A and B, or both are of the same color? Yes, both are of the same color. See here, it is so clear that A is black and B is white. I mean, whitish. But the moment I have this ladder kind of a thing connecting A and B, the color of A and B becomes the same. This is called the checker shadow illusion. Why? Why is this happening? That is because we operate, just like I told you just now, we operate in a three-dimensional world. At the most, we operate in a four-dimensional world. What is a four-dimensional world? For example, when you see a car speeding in front of you, so then it has height, width, depth, and time. With respect to time, you can just see a car passing fast in front of you. So at the most, we can see up to four dimensions. But now, if you want to see beyond the fourth dimension, it is difficult. It becomes this kind of a hotspot structure of four dimension. If you go to farther dimensions, say five, we are talking about two worlds existing parallelly, which means if you are in this world, there could be a possibility that there is somebody similar to your soul journey in some other world existing also. If you go farther into higher dimensions, it could be multiple such worlds, coexistence of all different kinds of worlds. Sorry, coexistence of similar worlds that have a similar startup time. But then higher dimensions implies there could be similar worlds with different startup times. And then it could be worlds across universes with similar startup times. And there could be different startup times where the border of universes also fade. Beyond that, what is there? Nobody knows. And we are so connected with the three-dimensional world. We feel that nothing exists beyond the three-dimensional, and we doubt if we are imagining something. How can this happen? Something that we cannot see, something that we cannot touch. We don't trust it. We fail to realize that what we are touching and feeling is just the third dimension, and we have at least 12 dimensions, at least 12, if not much more. This, as you know, is Albert Einstein. So, the reality that you understand, the reality that exists in you depends on your consciousness. And your consciousness depends on your spiritual level, your soul standing. So if you don't broaden your arena, your boundaries of thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions, your consciousness, will also be so much, so much. So if your consciousness is so much, the reality according to you is also so much, this much. So your reality is only the three-dimensional world, nothing beyond. Because you could never raise the boundaries of your consciousness. The moment you can extend the boundaries of your consciousness, the moment you can make your consciousness boundaryless, external transformation happens. With this external transformation happens spiritual enlightenment. The next slide that we will discuss is pure physics, which will help you understand every word that we utter, every thought that we have, every emotion that we store within ourselves carries vibrations. Remember the session on tetrahedrons? So all the molecules in the body, they have geometric structures. These tiny geometric structures give shape to reality. Of course, the reality that you call a reality is a combination of energy, light, frequency, and vibration. Now, a very interesting question. Do you think you have a soul? How many of you feel that you have a soul?
Yes, we have, sir.
All of you feel? Anybody who feels you do not have a soul?
Yes, we have soul.
You have soul? Okay. Unfortunately, I don't agree.
Why?
You don't have a soul. You are the soul. You might feel, that's a trick. You are playing a trick with us. Trick of words. But you know what? It is not trick of words. It is the belief within. You don't have the soul. The soul is actually there. The soul has borrowed the body. The body has not borrowed the soul. So you don't have the soul. You are the soul. I
True,
am talking to your soul, not to your body.
true. I think that's how we can define all the memories we collect from all the previous births.
Exactly, exactly. So in physics, there is something called the quantum physics. Actually, there's something called the superstring theory. Okay. Now, the superstring theory in quantum physics, it connects the concept of the soul and what we actually experience, even the existence of the mind for that matter. So it says that each and every particle, each and every body, each and everything that can be perceived in the three-dimensional world, sorry, constitutes of constitutes of very, very small particles, particles which cannot be smaller than that. They are like subatomic particles called strings. Okay. Now, string is actually made out of nothing, because string is not a substance. String makes substance. String makes matter. So string is not a matter. Okay. So uh, string is so tiny and so small that it can exist as a particle and a wave also. Wave implies vibration. So such is the existence of a string, which which is the principal constituent of anything that we can touch and feel. So a string that we say is it coexists as a particle and as a wave also. Okay. And there are different kinds of strings, and each of the strings vibrates with different energy. Okay. So for example, you see a graviton. Graviton controls the gravity. A photon captures light. Then there could be an electron. There can be something called a biophoton. Okay. Biophoton actually captures light in a deeper form. Okay. All the dimensions that we see in a three-dimensional world is built out of these strings. These are only examples of 4 or 5 types of strings. There are so many different kinds of infinite number of strings. The beauty is that all these strings exist in a 12-dimensional world. Some of them exist in a 10-dimensional world also. But many of these strings actually exist in a 12-dimensional world. So, which means a string that is existing in a physical body like ours can also exist in a matter which doesn't have life, maybe a pen, maybe a seed, maybe a tube light, and so on. Okay. So the truth is the strings are interconnected, intertwined. Different kinds of strings get intertwined together to create something that we perceive. So our body is also made out of these strings. And that is why we also have electromagnetic waves. Remember, many a times doctor says that you have to go for an ECG.
Yeah.
What is ECG? It is capturing the electromagnetic wave of your mind, of your brain. So if there was no current, if there was no electricity in the brain, then what is the ECG machine doing there? That proves that our body is also constituted of such strings. So the point is, the soul in you actually represents this extra dimensional part of your body. The soul in you sounds very, very, very weird. But your soul, sorry, your body is not even 0.0000001% of your soul. Because the soul can change its strings to create another body. And now you are the body. Because the strings have created some structures that has given birth to you. And it is also ever changing. We grow old, we die. The soul is immortal. So because our soul is also made of these strings, we can perceive, if we want, we can perceive all that is beyond the three-dimensional world. Try to understand. So, had you been constructed, had you been made out of something which is totally three-dimensional, it would have been impossible for you to perceive that is beyond three-dimensional. But by default, by nature, all of us, by nature, we are multi-dimensional by nature. But when we are awake, we restrict our mind. We stop our mind to see, to believe, to touch, to feel anything beyond three-dimensional. We block the mind. But the moment we are not active, the moment we are in a trance state, the moment we are sleeping, our mind knows no boundaries. Within a second, you can travel from Bhagalpur to Boston. And in another second, you can travel from Boston to Beirut. It doesn't take any time because that is visualization, or I would call it imagination. In the dream, you're seeing it. And that is our basic self, our soul. That is our soul state, our primary state. So, primarily, we are all built in such a way that we should perceive, we should feel the multidimensional state of the universe. So, when you say that I am not able to visualize, the statement itself creates vibrations which blocks your visualization. I'll come to that in the next slides. Okay, so I think I've given sufficient gyan on how the science part of it, the physics part of it, and what stops us from visualization. But of course, that doesn't mean that all of us have the same strength of visualization. Now, visualization, of course, it's not just viewing. It is actually we are talking about all kinds of things that comes to your mind. It could be just in the form of some voice, it could be just feeling something, just like we had the session on psychic perceptions. Similarly, okay. So sometimes you may not be able to see, but you can feel that something is there, or you may be able to hear or perceive in, or you can have an intuition and so on. But visualization is a very broad term. Visualization does not definitely always mean to view. It is beyond that. It is to feel in different forms with your closed eyes. Okay, the practice of visualization starts with some exercises, and this is the mudra for manifestation. Okay, so if you want to go for a quick trial or an exercise of visualization, you should always take these three fingers together and the other two fingers, in a folded form, and the three fingers should not be stretched. It should be loose this way. It should be loose. Okay, as you see it in the picture. Try to sit in this pharaoh position. I call it this pharaoh position. This is called a pharaoh position, sitting in a chair straight, spine straight as far as possible, and there should be a gap between the rest of the chair and your spine. Okay. Okay. Now the five-step process of visualization. First is the inner instruction to your mind. This goes exactly with what we understood in physics, in quantum physics, string theory or the superstring theory. So you have to pass instructions to your mind that I am open for visualization. I can visualize. I have always been visualizing throughout my life since birth. Whenever I've closed my eyes, I've always seen dreams. So why not now? Even now I can visualize. This is positive affirmation. It is not just affirmation, it is truth. In fact, the falsehood is that I can't visualize. The truth is that you always visualize. The moment you go to sleep, the moment your conscious mind goes to sleep, you can visualize. Now, the question is controlled visualization versus uncontrolled visualization. When you're dreaming, maybe it is not controlled, but you do visualize. Okay. So, first is you have to instruct your mind with positive affirmations that you are capable of visualization, and then try to be in a place which is quiet, which is not having too much of disturbances. But then, when we say quiet, without disturbances or unsettling noises, it is also the inner chattering of the mind. Okay, so as far as possible, you have to stop the inner chattering of the mind. And the best way to quieten your mind is to do the breathing exercise, the relaxation pattern, as you know, all of you do it. So you just have to focus on your breath, go deep into your breath and focus on your breath. Automatically, after a point, after 5 minutes or 7 minutes, your internal mind chattering will stop. Okay. Then comes the unburdening or the inner purification. Many of us have so many, burden in our mind. This is not happening. That is not happening. Why did so and so behave this way, that way? So the outer world always keep on distracting us. So that inner purification is to clean the mind as far as possible. So cleaning the mind, there are processes to clean the mind. Yeah, you can play a soft music, you can visualize a garden or something that is very pleasant to you. So gradually you will be able to unburden yourself and go for inner purification. Okay. Last but not the least is detachment. So that is about feeling better. The art of detachment is very, very profound. Of course, it is not so easy because even today, most of us cannot let go so many things in our life. Okay, especially those things which have not, we feel that it was not just, or we feel that injustice happened to us. We cannot let go of all of that. Okay, so for the time being, you have to just forgive everybody and detach yourself, because you have to be very selfish and think that this is my time. When it is my time, nobody can occupy my time. I let go of everything because they are not mine. My time is my time with my soul. So one method I taught all of you is just a couple of sessions back. I think we were discussing about this staring at the candle. So you can just light a candle and sit in the pharaoh position and have the candle more or less at the same height of your eye and stare at the candle. Of course, you have to switch off your lights as far as possible. Stare at the candle for a minute, then close your eyes and see exactly what you are seeing in the candle, including the melting of the wax, the different color combinations of the candle, of the light of the candle, the blue, the dark orange, the golden flame, all of that, and how the mild wind blows, and how the flame of the candle sways. All of that you see. Close your eyes, visualize. 1 minute, see 1 minute, try to visualize 1 minute. 1:1, then 1:2, then 1:3. Try to do that. Once you start doing this, then gradually, once you do this for 3 days or 5 days, you will be able to master it. It is not rocket science. It is very simple because it is focused on only one thing. It's very easy. But once you do that, after that, what you can do is you have to visualize all that is around the candle. So, for example, you have to close your eyes and imagine that the candle is on a table. Okay. There's a nice plate on which you have kept the candle. Then see the table, see the chairs around the table, see the room, see the window. Then start visualizing. Not actually, huh? May not be actually happening. So now start seeing things which are actually not happening. For example, if you are viewing the candle in night, when you close your eyes, start visualizing daytime. Start visualizing that there's a curtain, beautiful, soft, light curtain on your window, and mild breeze is blowing. And the curtain is swaying. As the curtain is swaying, mild wind is entering inside, and that is swaying the flame of the candle. Visualization. Then start visualizing something very different. A beautiful parrot has come and sat on the window frame. See that. Then start viewing that this beautiful parrot or any bird has come from the window frame just close to the candle, and it is also staring at the candle flame just like you are staring. I'm closing my eyes and I can actually see it as I'm telling you all this. So now you are what you were actually seeing, you are now creating your own stories which actually don't exist, but you're creating your story as you want to create. Remember the first slide? I spoke about Sukumar Ray, father of Satyajit Ray. Those animals, do those animals actually exist? Of course not. They don't. Nobody has ever heard of a dinosaur with a face of an elephant with wings. So now you are entering into a world just through this candle, which actually does not exist in the three-dimensional world. Now you are trying to visualize. You can call it daydreaming. This is another very interesting exercise. Okay, so try to we all, I mean, at some point in our life, we have all eaten an apple. Okay, so just take an apple, see the apple. Now you don't have to eat the apple because you have already eaten an apple earlier in your life. At some point in your life, just feel that you're biting an apple. Feel the smooth peel of the apple. Try to hear the crackling sound as you bite the apple. There'll be a minor, there's a soft, wonderful smell, the scent of the apple. Feel how juicy the apple is, the taste, the crispiness, the sweetness. Then, as you chew the apple, feel how the apple goes down through your throat, down through your body, down to your digestive system. You don't need to take this visualization to very granular parts. Just like normal, we eat an apple. Same way you visualize an apple and finish the apple bit by bit in your visualization. Now, this is wild. Nobody has seen a blue apple. Nobody has seen a transparent apple. Well, there are green apples, but this green apple, nobody has seen. Yellow apple, nobody has seen. This color of yellow, nobody has seen. Now change your dream, change your visualization, and visualize a blue apple. How about that? Visualizing a blue apple, and you're chewing a blue apple without knowing what is there inside, without knowing what is the color inside. You just don't know. First time you are just visualizing it and you're chewing a blue apple. How interesting it could be. This is called how you transform 3D to 5D, 6D, 7D. I hope you understand what I'm saying. 3D is the red apple. We always have eaten it. We have always tasted it. We always know how it happens. When we chew, we all know that there will be a crackling sound. We all know that it will be juicy. We all know that it will be sweet. We all know that it goes down the throat. But blue apple, and that too fluorescent blue, nobody has seen in their life. Now try to visualize this without knowing what is the consequence. Obviously, it will be good. Nothing is wrong here. This is taking your visualization beyond the third dimension. Similar can be an exercise with clocks. See, you have two clocks in front of you. One clock has Roman numbers and the other clock has English numbers. Have you ever come across a clock which has one in English and two in Roman, three in English and four in Roman? Obviously not. Try to bring further numbers, maybe Latin numbers, Arabic numbers, or any number of your mother tongue, maybe Hindi or Urdu or Bengali or something else. Try to create a wall clock with a combination of different languages representing the numbers. How about that? Change the theme. Here, the English clock is totally white. Try to superimpose the antique look of the Roman clock into the English clock and see how it looks like. So, clock is another nice visual exercise. This is perhaps one of the very, very well known exercises that we have, and most slightly complex visualization practices start with the, this, as you see here, the positive and the negative spaces, we call it, as we call it. So, positive space is what you actually see. For example, if you see kind of a, structure here, or here as you see the trees, when you see it is the positive. When you see the people, the three persons standing there, then it is the negative space. Similarly, the pot or the kind of a candlestick or candle stand that you see there is the golden one. But the moment you remove the golden part and make it white and cover it with black, you can see two faces. But that is not all. That is not what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you is, can you imagine the duality, the coexistence of the candle stand along with the two faces? Or the other one that you see in the left hand side, can you see the tree and the men together coexisting? If you, there are a lot of, in internet also you will find there is a lot of substance on positive and negative space. Try these exercises. These are exercises that open up your visualization. Going to the next. This is something that we did earlier also. Imagine that you're looking at the cloud and create numbers in your mind. Close your eyes, count 10. Not now, I mean, you can later on do this. Close your eyes and see the 10. Number 10 are made out of clouds. Number 9 made out of clouds. 8 made out of clouds. 6. Now close your eyes because you have already seen till 6. Now close your eyes and visualize as if you are looking in the sky and creating number 5. You are able to do it. Creating number 4 in the sky. Greeting number three, number two, and number one. Was it very difficult? It wasn't. So this is practice. Just run through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See it. Close your eyes. And now go backward. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So beautiful. This is practice. Then this one. All of you have gone through this. At least many of you have gone through this in early days. Many of you, when you all of you were struggling with your visualization, I asked you to go through this Amazon rainforest. And this is the sorry, I have to stop the video and I have to start it again with sound. I'm sorry. Yes. So if you start with this, sorry, 1 second. S- 1 second. Yeah. I'm sorry. Now, if I stop here, you can see that the Amazon River is there, and there are two persons rowing a boat. Tell me, is it really very difficult to see what happens next? Not really. It's easy. So, this is what is visualization. So, this is obviously what is happening next. So, sorry. So, this kind of a visualization you can always go through and you can see for 2 minutes and then create the story for the next 3 minutes. Or even you can go one step ahead where you can just see a picture and create a video out of it for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. That is practice of visualization because you are creating something that is totally unknown to you. Now, when you are watching this, here, there's a river here. Okay. So when this beautiful river is there, a lot of current is there and so on. You are just seeing this. Now you imagine that you are there. You are crossing this river. You are trying to find out the stones where you can keep your one feet, and then go to the next, and then the next, and jump, and then cross the river. Visualize that. Or visualize that you're just bending and taking some water in your palm and just tasting the water. Feel the taste of the water. You can do so many things with it. Okay, so this is visualization. Let's go to the next. This is something you have already seen, Egyptian healing. Okay. So here, if you remember, I asked you to imagine five hands on the fingertips of each of the on the fingertips of the five fingers. So each of the finger is having a palm and five fingers, creating 25 fingers. And on the tip of each of the fingers, asked you to imagine that there's a light ball glowing. Or the other hand that you see on the right hand side, each of the fingers having an eye to scan. I showed you this in a PPT, and then I asked you to imagine it during the meditation in real time. This is easy because I've already shown the picture. But if I don't show the picture, I just leave you there and ask you to imagine a palm, a hand with five fingers, and having five palms on the tips of five fingers. It would have been difficult for you to imagine unless you practice it. So there are few kinds of visualization. One is that you see and you extrapolate and try to see what happens next. The next is I show you something and I ask you to close your eyes and visualize that. That is easy. The third part, not difficult. The third part is I show you something and then I tell you, you create your own story, just like you did in the Amazon rainforest. Nobody knew what is going to happen after that. Nobody knows whether what you saw just now was of today or the era of dinosaurs. Suddenly, an anaconda can come, or a tiger can come, or an animal can come which you've never seen earlier. It is totally left to your imagination. So that is the third type. So as you develop yourself, you'll be able to develop all the different types of visualizations. Remember the body scanning that we did? This is so very powerful. If you're able to scan your body with this yellow ring, you will be actually able to understand what is wrong in your body with practice. So that was it. And that's all that I wanted to share with you. Um, Open to questions. Whatever questions you have, you can ask.
Sir, I put my question in the chat box.
Okay. So should I stop the recording?
Yes, sir.
Okay.